Hey guys, big welcome to our Minnesota Twins franchise. We're in episode number 207. It is season number 4, games 119 through 121, and we're facing the Detroit Tigers, who lead the American League Central Division. 3 games in the middle of the month of August. The month of August has not gone well for us so far. We are 1-7 in the month, and we just snapped a 7-game losing streak. Quick look at some stats here. The Tigers come in at 74 and 45. They have good rankings all across the board, except that they are 28th in stolen bases and 21st in strikeouts, pitching-wise. And the rest of them are in single digits, 4th, 8th, 4th, 7th, 7th, 4th. So they're up there in all of those categories. We're 15th in batting average in Major League Baseball and 12th in fewest home runs given up by our pitching staff. The rest, we're in the low 20s, and a couple of them even dead last in Major League Baseball. Game number 119, Justin Wilson making just his 4th start of the season. He's been primarily used out of the bullpen. He's got a 1.13 ERA in 48 innings, giving up 37 hits. He's got a whip under 1. And Kyle Gibson will make start number 24 for us, 4.28 ERA, 132 in the 3rd innings. And we'll get some highlights started off here in inning number 2 with third baseman Greg Garcia making his season debut for the Tigers. This is his first at bat. He's going to line it into right field. Runner coming around third will score. And Greg Garcia gets an RBI in his first at bat in the big leagues on the season. Middle of the 2nd inning, Tigers jump out to an early 1-0 lead. We go to the 4th inning now. This is Jace Peterson, sitting on 18 home runs for the year with 43 driven in. Jace Peterson drives one to deep right center field. That one's heading towards the gap. It's carrying towards the wall, and it's going to be out of here. A solo home run for Jace Peterson. It's number 19 on the season for Jace. And when he reaches 20, if he does, he'll just be the 2nd Twin this season to have over 20 home runs. The other one is Miguel Sano. And now we go from Justin Wilson to Alex Wilson. Out of the bullpen. Bullpen day for the Tigers. Herbert De La Rosa facing Alex Wilson with 1 out, bottom of the 4th inning. And this one's sent in a deep right center field. That one's at the track over the head of the center fielder, Lorenzo Cain. And De La Rosa is going to be into third with a triple, standing up. And that drives in a run. Twins tie it at 1 apiece. Raimel Tapia now at the plate, 240 hitter. With 1 out in the bottom of the 4th, looking for the 2nd run of the day. He's going to ground it to the right side, deep in the hole. Play made on to first for the out. But that drives the run in from 3rd, and the Twins take the lead in the bottom of the 4th inning. Looking for their 2nd win in a row here against the division-leading Tigers. Jose Iglesias at the plate now, 253 hitter. Facing Kyle Gibson still with a runner on first. 2 outs, this one driven to center field. Underneath it is Byron Buxton to make the catch. Halfway through the ball game, Twins lead it 2-1. Both teams with 5 hits on the day. We go to the 7th inning. Blaine Hardy in for the Tigers. Parents number 27. Facing Raimel Tapia. 4 home runs, 21 RBIs. Lefty on lefty matchup. Tapia drives this one the other way into left center field. Lorenzo Cain is tracking it. That one's at the warning track, and it's going to be caught right at the wall. Lorenzo Cain robs Raimel Tapia of extra bases. Still 2-1 Twins. Bottom of the 7th inning. Ground ball left side deep in the hole. Jose Iglesias. Long throw, strong throw. Gets him. And Robert Jones grounds out. Still 2-1 as we end the 7th inning. We go to the 8th. Twins hanging on to a lead. Jimmy Dyer trying to get a hold of 2.45 ERA. He's facing Miguel Cabrera, who's having a great season, 342 average. Right up there among the leaders with the Indians' Michael Brantley. Twins playing no doubles defense, guarding the lines. Ground ball to 3rd. Miguel Sano on to 1st for the out. That ends the Tigers' half of the 8th inning. Score still 2-1 Twins. We are 3 outs away from our 2nd win in a row, a 2nd win in the month of August. Kevin Seagrist looking for save number 30. Facing Greg Garcia, 1 for 3 on the day. 1 for 3 so far this year. Tying run at third with 2 outs, and Greg Garcia looks at the first pitch. It's 0-1. Swings and misses at the slider, down and away. 0-2 delivery. This one up out of the zone. 1-2. And this one fouled off by the Tigers' third baseman. Tying run 90 feet away. Ground ball up the third base line. 1-2 delivery. And Greg Garcia over the top of a changeup. Kevin Segrist earns save number 30. The Twins get their second win in a row, and it's just our second win here in the month of August. Jace Peterson, your player of the game, 2 for 3 with a home run and an RBI. Herbert De La Rosa, 1 for 3 with a triple. Delino DeShields went 1 for 2, drew a walk. Raimel Tapia, 1 for 3 with an RBI as well for the Twins. Justin Upton, 2 for 4 with a run scored for the Tigers. Tigers lead the season series now, 8 games to 2. We have 2 games left with them in this series, and then we face them a couple more times throughout the season. A couple more series with them, the division leaders in the American League Central. They're trying to hold off the White Sox, who are making a late season push. Jose Barrios facing Daniel Norris in this one. Second game of this 3-game series from Target Field. Daniel Norris, 12-6 with a 2.80 ERA, having himself a fine year for the division-leading Tigers. Jose Barrios having himself a good year for us. For a losing ball club, he's 8-6 with a 3.65 ERA, and he's well on his way to becoming our ace. Miguel Sano now, 4th in the American League with 32 home runs, 271 average. 1-2 delivery. Deep drive to left field. That one is heading back into the seats. And it's home run number 33 for the big third baseman for the Twins. Really the only bright spot offensively. Well, I shouldn't say the only bright spot. Jace Peterson has been good. And Mario Calero's been good, batting average-wise. But, I mean, the only real production we've gotten has been from Miguel Sano as far as driving in runs goes. Here's Jose Iglesias now. Twins leading 1-0. Could we get our 3rd win in a row and win the series here against the Tigers? Middle of the 3rd, we have the lead. We go to the 6th inning now. Score still 1-0. We've had to go to our bullpen. Trevor May, 2-4 on the season. Making appearance number 38, facing Justin Upton. We use Trevor May in long relief situations. And he gets Justin Upton to strike out looking. Middle of the 6th inning. Twins working on a combined shutout. We go to the 7th now. Lefty Stan Good, 2.84 ERA. Had a few struggles recently. Facing Brian McCann. Lefty on lefty matchup with a runner on first and nobody out. Brian McCann drives this one to center field. Byron Buxton's going back. He is looking up. That one's headed towards the shrubbery, and it is over the top of the limestone and into the stands. Unbelievable drive by Brian McCann. And that flips the game upside down here in the 7th inning. It gives the Tigers a 2-1 lead. As we stretch, we go to the 8th inning. Jenmar Gomez, 5.19 ERA, 1-4 record in 35 appearances. Facing Justin Upton. Upton, 24 home runs, 73 driven in. And he's going to ground this one on the left side. It gets past Miguel Sano. That is one thing that we could improve upon is defensively. Our corner infielders just don't have their reaction ratings are not great. So balls like that are going to get past Sano, and they usually get past Calero as well. So maybe that's something we can look for in the offseason. Maybe a third baseman and then put Sano as like a permanent DH. Maybe Nolan Arenado, possibly. He'll be available. Anyway, we'll get to that when we get to the postseason. Tigers get the win, 3-1, and they lead the season series 9-2. Jose Barrios had to leave the game early. That's why we brought in Trevor May, and he's going to be out 1 to 2 weeks with a strained pectoral muscle. So we put him on the 10-day injured list, and we call up Carlos Frias from our AAA club in Rochester, New York. And Frias will make a start next episode against the Cleveland Indians. Frias, potential is a C. He's 29 years old, has over a year of MLB experience. That's the main reason why we chose to call him up. Doesn't have great numbers across the board ratings-wise. 84 velocity, 73 break is okay. Gives up too many hits, gives up too many home runs to really be considered for everyday Major League rotation. Shane Green now facing Brad Hickman in the final game of the series. Shane Green, start number 24, a 4.46 ERA. And Brad Hickman is making just his second start since being called up from AAA after we acquired him from the Texas Rangers in the trade that sent Will Myers there. 6.75 ERA after one start for Hickman. We go to the third inning. Tigers at the plate with 2 outs. And the bases loaded. Hickman's gotten himself into a little bit of a jam. Nowhere to put the batter on a full count to Brian McCann. And Brian McCann grounds it up the middle. 1 run will score. Second one heading around third. And the throw is off target. Would have scored anyway. Jose Iglesias, that second runner. Brian McCann with 2 RBIs. Middle of the third, Tigers jump out to a 2-0 lead. Delino DeShields Jr. now with runners on second and third. 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out in the bottom of the third. Here's the delivery from Green. This one is skied out to center field. Lorenzo Cain is back at the track. And with both feet just barely on the grass, will make the catch. Runner comes in to score. Throw comes into third as the runner from second, Calero, tags and moves up 90 feet. It's 2-1. Tigers with the lead. We end up stranding that runner on third. And at the end of 3, the Tigers lead at 2-1. We go to the 4th inning. Jose Iglesias, 2 for 2 on the day. 254 with 5 home runs and 42 RBIs for the Tigers shortstop. And he's going to bloop this one into right center field. That one's going to drop. Buxton will come in. And his throw is cut off by Calero. 1 run comes in. Tigers increase their lead to 2. Trevor May back on again. 2-4 record, 3.84 ERA. 84 and a third innings in long relief for Minnesota. Runners on the corners, nobody out. This one driven to right field. That's going to drop in front of Tapia. 1 run will score from third. And the Tigers' lead increases to 4-1.
Now batting.
Here is Danny Valencia with the bases loaded and nobody out. And Valencia drives it right up the middle for a base hit. And another run scores. It's 5-1 Tigers. So we had to leave Trevor May in longer than we wanted to in this game, because we've got to save somebody in our bullpen for the Cleveland series coming up. And everybody is, trying to manage everybody's stamina in the bullpen is a challenge when you're a losing ball club and have to turn to the pen more often than you would like. So going into that Cleveland series, we may have to look to AAA for some extra pitching help. We'll see how it goes, but as it stands now, our bullpen is pretty gassed. And the Tigers get an 8-1 win. They lead the season series 10-2, and the Twins losing in the month of August continues. A short 2-game winning streak followed by a 2-game losing streak to close out the series here against the Tigers. Iglesias goes 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs on the day, 2 runs scored. Lorenzo Cain 4 for 6 with 2 runs scored, and Danny Valencia 3 for 5 with an RBI. All for the Tigers. Delino DeShields' bat is starting to heat up. He went 2 for 2 with an RBI as well for the Twins. Look at the playoff picture really quickly. The Red Sox, Tigers, and Rangers are your division leaders. The Rangers have a small 2.5-game lead over the Angels. Tigers 6 over the White Sox. Red Sox 6.5 over the Jays. Out in the wild card race, you've got the White Sox and the Blue Jays as your 2 wild card teams. The Angels 1.5 back, the Indians 5 back, and the Royals 5.5 back in the American League. And that's really the only teams with a legitimate shot in the wild card race as we come down the stretch. Playoff picture in the National League is a little bit different. A little more teams involved here. The Nationals, Cubs, and the Giants are the division leaders. Giants, again, with the best record in all of baseball. 8.5 games ahead of the Dodgers. The Cubs lead the Pirates by 9. The Cardinals by 11. Nats lead the Mets by 3.5. The Marlins by 4. The Dodgers and the D-backs are your wild card teams. The Mets are 3 games back. The Fish are 3.5 out. The Buccos 6 out. The Phillies 7 out. And the Cardinals 8 out. They're probably a long shot at this point. So that is Minnesota Twins franchise, episode 207, here on the Moldy Cheese Baseball Network.